Should psychotherapists respect conventional boundaries? This is a question that is similar to the question of respect for boundaries in any kind of profession. You generally respect boundaries because that allows for the necessary predictability and comfort in your professional relationship with your clients and in the client's relationship to you. We know what to expect from each other, and this makes us feel secure, and this allows us to plan and to work on getting what we want from the other person in our professional relationship. However, like with every relationship, after a while, we face the question of whether we want to transgress the boundaries in order to obtain the results of the process and the relationship that are typically not available within the boundaries. The boundaries are typically very limiting. They are there to allow for a start to the relationship, but once the relationship gets going and gets off the ground in the substantial way, one wonders how far one is allowed to go in order to produce the desired results. And this happens often in psychotherapy. We become friendly with our clients. We start to understand their way of thinking and their existential situation. We start to feel for them, and we want to help them. And very often, in order to help them, we need to do things that simply take us beyond the consulting room, beyond our position as a counselor, and basically put us in the shoes of the client's ally, collaborator, someone who helps them in the real life, someone who helps them outside the consulting room, somebody who is a resource to them in ways that are not conventional and that are not standardized as a helping profession. This is very frequent, and the large number of great psychotherapists in the history of psychotherapy have transgressed those boundaries and socialized with their clients and conducted joint projects and allowed them to participate in the professional activities and went for dinner with them and went for holidays with them. Just consider Freud. Freud was the first one to suggest as a neurologist that the psychotherapist should resemble a surgeon in their relationship with the client, that he or she should be distant and objective and should not empathize with the client too much, only to start becoming increasingly familial with his clients and having them over for supper at his house very frequently, and inviting his clients to travel with him to meetings of the Psychoanalytic Society and allowing them to fund the psychoanalytic movement and making them secretaries and treasurers of the Psychoanalytic Association, etc., etc. So great results require unconventional methods, and in order to achieve what is unusual, one has to use the unusual methods. Does this mean that psychotherapists are allowed to become existentially intimate with their clients? I don't mean sexually, I mean intimate in the way of participating in their personal relationships and socializing with them and acting as a friend. In some cases, yes. In some cases, the psychotherapist will be a friend and will be an ally and will offer advice how to achieve certain things, and will be there for you as a person and not only in their professional capacity. And it is often in these personal relationships that the greatest results occur, and that many psychological disorders are overcome due to the intimate resource that the psychotherapist becomes for the client. One of the most typical situations is when the mechanism of transference operates. This is the mechanism whereby the client projects some of their important relationships onto the personality and identity of the therapist. And this transference is considered to be the most powerful handle, so to say, by which the therapist pulls the client towards a better mental health and a better existential situation and a better life. And this transference often takes the form of a parental relationship where the client sees the therapist as the projection of a parent, because our parents are among the most important people in our lives, and for most people they are the primary figures in relationship to whom people establish their identities and articulate their issues with the world they live in and with their overall experience, and thus they naturally project their relationship with their parents onto their relationship with the therapist. And using this relationship, the therapist can help the client a great deal, but the therapist can also derive an incredible amount of satisfaction from feeling as though he or she is parenting the client. So it's a treacherous road, it's a dangerous road, but one has to constantly conduct checks and balances on oneself and one's own countertransference, which is one's own projections of one's own important relationships onto the client. But nevertheless, playing on the edge of these various boundaries and crossing them occasionally is what makes up for great therapy.